So, another sketchbook tour, and another one of my handmade sketchbooks. Now, I went a little overboard with the amount of paper that I put in here, and that's why I think the binding's not as strong on this one. But I will be doing an update of some of the changes that I've made to making these sketchbooks. I'm still enjoying the process. I still feel that it's saving me a bit of money, and I'm going through sketchbooks pretty quickly. This one was from April to June, so that's not very long. That's barely 2 months. So yeah, so that's why I make my own sketchbooks. So these two stickers I got at Spacing in Toronto. So these are, if you don't know Toronto, these are subway stations, and it happens to be where I've lived in the city. So I got those two. This is just a sticker from somewhere. This is my friend Lisa Chinelli and her partner Sean Sebastian Mele do incredible enamel work jewelry. And I got this from the Urban Sketchers Toronto to celebrate International Urban Sketchers Week, which was May 1st to 7th, and then a regular Urban Sketchers Toronto sticker. And at the back I have some more numbers and a little QR code for finding me on Instagram, and also to get in touch if you happen to find this sketchbook, because I'd be kind of upset. So this time I did something a little bit different. I had these papers that I got off Temu, I think, and I used that to stiffen up the cover, and also to help support the cover and its attachment to the paper. This was a Melissa Martin, the artist, had this little camera that she got in Japan, and so it prints out on laser paper. So that's all of us. It's me sitting in Queen's Park, and it has the date on it too. So that was one of her meetups. And then, so April 23rd was the first one I used, sketched at the Isle of Coffee at Broadview and Queen. This is rough paper. This is cold press. I think it is Arsh. I have a few different papers in here, and now I have to try to remember what they are. I think this was Strathmore still, or possibly Stillman and Burn, and it's kind of like a mixed media hot press. That's just a little sketch at Jason George Pub. This was meeting up on a Friday for Sketch Club at Breddy, which is at York and Adelaide. It's a pastry place. And so that was one sketch there, and then I did the view, which is this, I'll have to look it up. The artist, there's this really kind of almost unsettling sculpture on Adelaide. And then the real meetup that day was for the Friday New Time recital at St. Andrew's Church. And we were sitting up in the balcony looking down on the players. And so I squeezed them in just the corner here. They were actually on a stage there. And then after that, we went to TIFF, which is where the film festival is located. And we were up at Varda Cafe looking down onto King Street at John. And I like, there's Nolan's restaurant's now gone, but they still have the old piano stuck to the facade of the building. I just like the reds that were around. And then the next day, I met up with some of the urban sketchers, not many. We're touring a space where we're going to have an exhibit at 401 Richmond. And then we walked up to Kensington Market. This is, you can see I'm sorry that the light's not really great here today. Yeah, Fabriano Artistico paper that I happen to have. This pieces, but this is, I think, the Stillman and Burn. So yeah, we walked up to Kensington Market and went to Wanda's Pie in the Sky. So I just sketched things I could see from the cafe and then things in the cafe, including my friend's rhubarb pie. It looked delicious. And while we were at 401 Richmond, I sat in Dark Horse Cafe there and sketched that. So it's just watercolor. It might have been gouache actually, and colored pencil. Then meeting up with Melissa Martin, we started at Queen's Park. It's just the provincial legislature building. So we weren't there very long. I did a really quick gouache and colored pencil sketch. And that same weekend, I went to go see the Scottish comedian Fern Brady at the Jean Mallet Theatre, which is near where I live, and she's hilarious. And then also in Queen's Park is this sculpture, and again, we weren't there very long. I sketched that. This was based on my photo of the Rex. So this is a gouache. Another Friday we went to Page 1 at Mutual Street. It's this huge cafe that has a lot of old typewriters, which is kind of cool. And this is a shelf full of them and some coffee paraphernalia, old cameras, old phones. And for the Urban Sketchers week, there was a sketching walk touring some of the sculptures, public sculptures along Wellington, and it ended at Percy Park, which is near me, so I joined it for the ending. This is the dog plus one cat fountain. Wasn't turned on yet. Another sculpture in the park, and I also added some beautiful magnolia trees there as well. And then this was just a sketch I did from one of my photos of the fish, one of the fishmongers at St. Lawrence Market. And this is near me. This is David Crombie Park. And that looks like August 27. April. Huh, that's weird. Yeah, just a really, really quick, loose sketch. And then I went to go see that friend, Lisa. She was having a pop-up market, and across the street is the Maker Bean, which is a cafe that also does laser cutting for wood and 3D printing. And this was after the Percy Park. Some of us went out for a drink or some food, and I was sketching some of the members, and that's Front Street behind them. And that day that we went to Page 1, we also went to Allen Gardens, which is a conservatory in Toronto, greenhouse, and so we sketched there together. These are huge cacti everywhere. And the day that I was out in the West End at Maker Bean, I also did a quick sketch of Ossington Station. And this is a just a sketch done from one of my photos of Riverdale Farm. It's a city farm. And I went out to the Bentway because I was having an art show there in a couple weeks after that, and it's near Fort York, which is where the army was situated in Toronto when it was still York. And it's just really neat to see all these old buildings still, and then all the condos going up around it. And this was the day that Above Ground was having their annual clearance sale. And we met up at Prima Cafe on McCall, basically right across the street from it. And then we went to the Grange. Some people went for something to eat in the food court there. And this was a Urban Sketchers meetup at the college, part of U of T. And I just did I taped off little boxes and just did little tiny vignettes around the college. That's Pratt Library. That's Vic College itself, and that's Burwash Hall, which is a residence. And then behind Burwash Hall were lovely Japanese cherry trees. And then I took myself to Church and Wellesley, which is known as the Gay Village, because I wanted to do a sticker for that area of Toronto, because I do stickers of different areas in Toronto or different iconic buildings. So I was just sitting on the cafe of Church Street Espresso. And then you probably would have seen my video, if you're a subscriber, pop up of my trip up north to Port Perry. What am I saying? I was going up to Barrie and then switching. And this is the Union Station waiting area for the GO trains, which are commuter trains. And this is the York Street concourse. And then I was on the train. There's nobody on it. Almost nobody on it. And unfortunately, I didn't get time to sketch when I was there. Also, it was pouring rain. And so the sketching club returned to Allen Gardens because they just renovated the Palm House, which doesn't really have palm trees. I can't even remember if they used to. They've taken out a lot of the plants that used to be in here. Now it's going to be more of an event space, but it's still rather nice. And it was nice that day because they have tables and chairs, and they had a seniors group in there. And then when they left, a bunch of teenagers came in. I don't know if they were part of a group, but they were just sitting there and doing their homework, and it was just really nice. And some of them were coming over and see what we were doing. This is a really quick sketch at Starbucks at King and John. And then I was doing a demo at Above Ground Art Supplies. They had a carousel event, and I was to show how to use water brushes for the benefits of a water brush, especially the Derwent water brushes. And part of the package that they gave instructors had a Derwent Inktense pencil in lemon sherbet. And I thought that was kind of an odd choice. There was only one Inktense pencil in the package. And so I challenged myself to use it as a sketching tool. So I just sketched out the scene with this yellow and then went over it with watercolor and some other colored pencils. If you don't know Inktense, it dries as ink, so then it's, in theory, can't be removed. So you kind of, once you put it down and put water on it, it's kind of fixed. So then you can go over it without having to worry about it still moving with anything wet. So that's just the park mirror in my studio. And then one weekend we sat on Lippo's patio. They are an amazing pastry shop. And they have one on Cherry Street and then another one on Dundas. And this is a sketch of our place, just reading at home the same day. That's with gouache and colored pencil. This was after a dentist appointment at across from St. James Park, so I went and sat and sketched for a little bit. And this is where you can see some stress on the sketchbook. These are gel plate transfers, which I will have a video about. Transferring photos onto gel plate using brochure paper printed on inkjet. And so this is a picture I took of Alan Carden's greenhouse, and I knew I was going back there. And then this is a domain-free image. It's an old image of a bird and then some fruit trees. So I just placed them in there, and then when I went back, I did a sketch from there. I did the same with these. This I added a stencil with some soft pastel and then filled in the areas based on photos rather than sketching, doing urban sketching. So that's Meridian Hall, used to be the O'Keefe Center, and this is nearby. This is the Gardner Expressway that goes through downtown Toronto and the underpass. And this was another meetup, this time at University College at U of T. This is one of our Friday meetups. This is the cloister area, which I always loved as a student. And then a friend went to this Cafe Paper Route and looked really neat, and it used to be, or it is, near where we used to live. And they have this really nice wall mural that's very like Bemelman's Cafe or Bemelman's Bar in the Carlisle, New York City. And that, I think, leaked from there. Unfortunately, that's too bad. And this is just a sketch of Jason George pub on the patio using ink tints in bark color. And then we had a meetup at the Well, which is a new development kind of downtown at Spadina and King. I was just sitting waiting for a friend at one of the cafes. It's the glass structure above it. And this is underneath. This is the market that they have, food market. So it's just all different little restaurants around and a little grocery shop. And because it was an urban sketching event, I got a stamp. And then Doors Open, one of the venues participating in it was the new North Market across from St. Lawrence Market. And the North Market has farmers market on Saturdays and has courts up above it. So I was up on the 5th floor looking down at St. Lawrence Market and Market Street. That's the liquor store. And this is the Bentway. So different tables and tents of artisans showing their and selling their goods. It was a really, really cold, windy day. It was so cold, even though it was May 31st. But the Urban Sketchers came and kept me company for a couple of hours, having a meetup. So I sketched this in just drawing pencil and then added the gouache color after when I had warmed up. This is gel plate printed onto some rice paper. I just stuck that in there thinking I might use it for a sketch, but I didn't. This is, while the Urban Sketchers were there, I did the sketch using basically highlighters and colored pencil from under the bent wing. And this was one of our Friday sketching venues from Fornocultura on King Street East. They have a really fantastic view of downtown Toronto, including CN Tower, Globe and Mail building, CIBC, and a new condo development there. And this is in the Distillery District at Italy. Maybe some of you know that store. They have them in Chicago, New York, and they have a big one in Toronto at Bay and Bloor, but they have a little store at Distillery District, which is near me, and they have a really nice cafe. So I sketched that. I started in Inktense Red Oxide, I think it's called, and then added the watercolor after. Again, same sort of technique, using the Inktense pencil to sketch and then setting it with some water and even letting it kind of drip down, and then waiting for that to dry and going over it with some color. Again, same red oxide. This is a new condo development down near the water, and it's got really kind of neat form to it. These cantilevered curved balconies, and another condo beside it. This one was using Inktense pencil as well, with I think it was purple or deep purple or something. And then same day there was a ship-in at the sugar refinery. If you've seen my other videos, you know I pop down to Sugar Beach quite a bit. These are the pink umbrellas that are at the beach. It's a man-made beach, it's not really a beach in the proper sense. And that's one of the ships in, and then some people were enjoying the really beautiful weather that day, sitting having their lunch. And this was another meetup at the Friday Sketching Club. This time we were sitting on Italy's patio outside, and so I was sketching Brick Street Cafe and some of the other places in the Distillery District. And this was during the carousel event. We had different demos. There's 6 demos, and people rotated through them, and then we went sketching afterwards. So that was in the park by the Grange and by OCAD, the art university. And this was post the carousel. We went to Nord Lion, another good pastry place in Toronto, and just sat and had coffee and some pastry. And that's it. I put a little pocket in this one, but I never did use it. A friend brought back pencil for each of us from Caran d'Ache in Geneva, and including a little Swiss chocolate. So that was it. The next, I've already made the next sketchbook, and it's going to have less paper in it, or it has less paper in it, so that the binding isn't as compromised. Nothing's coming loose, but I didn't like that it kind of cracked open there like that. I didn't like that. So that's it. That's another sketchbook tour. Thanks so much. Bye.